This video is produced by Right. In this video, we'll be showing you how to make a drawstring backpack. These are becoming very popular and they're very easy to build. We'll be making our drawstring bag out of Surelast fabric. You can use other fabrics if you like. 1 yard of Surelast fabric will surely give you 2 bags, but maybe more depending on the size. We'll also be using leech line Dacron, an 1/8 inch. You'll need about 14 feet of leech line per bag approximately. A 1 ounce cone of V69 thread will probably get about 20 of these bags done. In this video we'll be using spur grommets, however you can use a plain grommet as well. Let's get started and show you how to make one. We'll be cutting a fabric blank that will equal, when finished, 22 inches high by 17 inches wide. Each fabric blank for our appropriate size is cut to 46 inches in length and 18 inches wide.
Double 1 inch hem. So we want to go 2 inches down and just turn this in slightly and veer off of it. Do that with all 4 of these corners.
If you believe a 22 by 17 inch bag is too big, you can obviously modify those measurements. Deb's going to take a ruler to this and mark down 3 inches to determine where that fold will end.
And double that over, so we want it to be 3. Mark this one at 3. Same thing.
Surelast fabric has a coated surface on the underside and a non-coated surface on the top side. We're folding these folds in towards the coated surface. You'll notice it when you get the fabric.
Okay. And a back stitch.
In this video, we're using the Big and Tall sewing machine. You can do this with a home sewing machine quite easily. We're also using Tanara thread, which is totally UV proof. That's not necessary. We'll do this to all the corners of the fabric blank, and we'll make sure they're all facing up towards the inside of our bag.
Okay, so we're going to put our logo on here before we sew our sides together.
As we do with almost every project here at Right, we like to proudly display our logo. This self-adhesive logo sticks fairly well, but we like to sew around the perimeter to make sure it never comes off.
Okay, now you want to kind of press seam so that you can see where the center is on here.
The outside surfaces are facing each other.
You want to sew in some corner patches.
Get some scrap material and cut your patches.
Cut a 3x3 square.
We'll cut one 3x3 square for each corner. We'll have 2 reinforced corners.
Okay, since this Surelast is kind of thin, we want to reinforce the corner where we're going to install our grommet. So we've cut out some 3x3 squares. Fold them in half and make them into a triangle. Cut from corner to corner crosswise. Okay. That's the side.
Deb's flipped the panel, so we're now working on the inside.
Corners are here. We're going to just stitch into there so that it's just above our center mark here.
She's placed the 2 layers on top of each other.
And we'll go ahead and sew across this edge to hold them in place. You can use pins or seam stick to hold this down if you have trouble with it sliding on you.
Do that same procedure for the other side.
Same with the other side. Okay, so we'll fold them in half. We're going to sew right up past this edge here, up to here, and back tack, and stop before we reinforce the corner, the hem edge.
Notice that the outside surface is facing each other.
Take our side here.
Deb will sew a straight stitch about a 1/2 inch away from the outside edge. Notice she reverses at the beginning and also at the end here.
Do the same with the other side.
Here we are showing the other side just starting at the opposite end.
Now we're going to take and turn the bag right side out. Okay, you can see where we stitched. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to sew back through that one more time so that the layers are sewn together. So make sure that the corners are pushed out all the way.
Just place your finger inside the bag and poke the corner until it is expanded all the way out.
Okay. Over them. Make sure it's flattened out. Sit right over top where it was before.
Do that to the opposite corner at the bottom as well.
Okay. Do the same with the other corner. Okay, now we have our two strings to put in, and you want to kind of bring your ends together, find your center. You have to do this one the opposite way.
Cut the Dacron 1/8" leech line to approximately 7 foot. You'll need two 7-foot pieces for each bag.
Crisscrossing in that type of a manner there. You'll have one coming through here, through here. This will hem over top, like so, and this one will hem this way. Once those get hemmed, it's going to lock that loop into place where it will draw this way, and then this will be the same way. So the easiest way to do this is to bring your loops inside. You have one continuous string, this being your center. Same with this being your center. Okay, bring two together. Bring your 1 inch over your hems. And we'll sew through there.
You may notice that the line in this video is a lot longer than 7 foot. That's just because we used extra line, and we're going to cut it off and throw away the excess, so you don't need to do that. We're using an 1/8" leech line here. Sayrite does sell a 5/32 inch leech line, which is a little bit bigger. You can choose to use that if you'd like. It's just a little bit heavier line. The choice is yours.
Still have a continuous string, our loop coming out, and we also have our loop coming out from this side in our straight ends. Keep these together. We'll fold this hem over 1 inch. This over, making sure both of your lines are inside. We have 2 straights and a loop. Okay. Your 1 inch over. Back stitches. Okay, and here we're coming to the end. We have 2 straights and a loop. Fold this over. Okay, now you can kind of see you've got 2 straights and a loop. The other end is the same. And then when you pull on the two long straights, that's what's going to gather it in here. Okay, now we're going to put some grommets in the corners. So you just want to have your reinforcement in there, and this is sewn shut. Put our grommet in the corner.
We're going to be using a spur grommet here. The spur grommet has teeth and is a little bit thicker metal than a plain washer grommet. However, a plain washer grommet will work as well because this is not a high stress area that the grommet is being placed into. This is the number 1 spur grommet.
There's a variety of different grommets that you might rather use.
Any grommet typically requires a hole before using the die set. We're using the hole cutter from Sailrite, the number 1 size, and we're also using a rubber cutting pad on the bottom side to protect the hole cutter from damage. Then we're using a number 1 spur grommet die set. If you choose to use a plain washer grommet, you can buy a whole kit for a lot less than all those parts that we're using here in the video. It's your choice.
Now what you want to do is bring your ends down, feed them through the grommet, and then this will determine actually how long or short you want the bag to hang when it's on your back, like so. Okay, so you can actually adjust the height that you want with your strings. So I suggest that you put them through.
You'll notice here that Deb puts it through the other side of the grommet here. It doesn't really matter, but you may want to put it through the same side of the grommet as you did on the other side.
And you're not going to have it on when it's opened really, so what we'll do is close it. Pull both of these shut. Okay, and our lines are going out. Okay, and these work as the straps for our backpack. And depending on your size, big or little, bottom. Okay, and you can adjust them to the height you want. If you want the bag to hang down here further, make your string longer.
And then once you determine the appropriate length, then just tie knots. Obviously the leech line in this video is a lot longer than our recommended 7 foot. So we'll be cutting a lot of it off. You'll see that next.
Okay, and then on the bottom here, like I said, you can put a charm on there, tie another knot, and you can decorate it as you like. You just want them plain, just take, hot knife your lines off, and you're ready to go.
If you do not have a hot knife, you can use scissors and then just use a lighter to melt the ends of the line to keep them from unraveling. Making a drawstring backpack is fairly easy, as you can see in the video, and using Surelast fabric is a great choice for this type of bag. I've used Surelast fabric at home to make bags for camcorders, electronic toys, and all sorts of other electronic equipment. I'm Eric Grant with Sailrite. Thanks for watching this video. Bye-bye.